What is up, guys? Welcome to yet another video of simple technical analysis, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys the update on Ethereum and the reasons to why we're still buying and we're still holding strong. So to start with, welcome, right? Alright, so Ethereum is about to break all-time highs and head towards my take profit level, which is around $7,000 per Ethereum. So I'm going to give you the reasons to why I believe that is going to happen, and I'm going to give you guys an almost immediate entry for you to jump in this buy and swing it as well. Right, so to start with, we're going to be looking at the higher time frames, such as the weekly time frame. That's where we're going to start doing our top-down analysis from. So before we head over to an empty chart, I'm going to explain a few things on this particular chart. So we have three key tools which are guiding us to where we're heading to next. So to start with, we have this rectangle tool over here, which is serving as a resistance zone from 2021's all-time high. Then we have this yellow trend line tool over here, which is a pattern, right, and is serving as a support zone from the breakout and then the retest of this trend line. Then we have this other yellow uptrend over here, which price has been bouncing off of, right? It's just guiding us, telling us that we are indeed in an uptrend, right? And it also serves as a guide. So with that being said, right, let's jump into an empty chart. So here's an empty chart. This is Ethereum, and we're going to start by looking at our line charts and marking out the highs, right? So this is Ethereum, and this is our 2021 all-time high. Just gonna mark that there. And as you can see, price broke above ever so slightly. So if we go to look at the candlesticks, we can see that price broke above. And if we go back to the line charts, we can see that yes, price did break above but didn't close above, right? So again, starting on the weekly time frame, this is what we're seeing over here. Market broke above, came down, retested, and sold. But that's not the important information that we're going to be looking at right now. We're going to be looking at our immediate line of action. So if we draw our trend line here, line this up perfectly, we can see that this is a bullish flag pattern, and a bullish pattern like this just indicates a trend continuation. So we're going to dissect further on this, but before we go down, I'm going to also draw out that trend line. So here's that trend line which we were looking at. Obviously we have our all-time high, which is coming from this point over here. So I'm going to try and not make a mess on this chart as we have in our initial chart over here. So let's get back to our candlesticks, because we've already gotten the information we needed out of the line chart. Let's get back to the candlesticks and let's jump down to the daily time frame. Right, so on the daily time frame, this is what it's looking like, and yes, we might want to adjust, right? So now if I'm going to zoom out, I'm just going to explain one thing while zooming out, in case you're wondering why I had to draw up information from here. Now there's one thing I always say, which is past price data, right, is what we use to determine the future outcome of a particular asset, or is what we use to predict the future price movement, right? So we use past price data to predict the outcome of what is to happen next in the future. Just have that at the back of your head, and that is why I'm drawing this from here. So how is that going to help me, right? Because I was able to see that we're getting to all-time high, and we're going to start seeing some lag in momentum or some rejection around this point. So at that point, if I was active for the sells, I will not be looking to buy at this point. I'll just be looking to sell. Or because of the idea that when in a buying market, in a bullish market, you should ignore all sells, what I'll be looking for is a re-entry for the buy. So I'll be looking for a retrace, then I'll jump in and join the buy. Right, so if that makes sense, let's carry on with this. Now another thing is adaptability, because as you can see, we drew this on the weekly time frame, but breaking down or jumping down to the lower time frame, we can see that there's some differences, right? So we have to always adjust our trend lines, always adjust, because adaptability is key, right? You cannot be fixated on a buy and believe that that buy is going to keep buying, and then the sell comes and you just keep buying because you believe on the buy and you didn't want to look at the other possibilities. Because remember, when it comes to trading, it's a game of possibilities and probabilities. So you have to look at the possible outcome, the probable outcome. uh, you have to look at 2 or 3 scenarios, right? And that's what we're going to do right now. So as you can see, we have our resistance zone, which is the all-time high of 2021, which is where we are right now. And yes, we did break above slightly. Then we also have this our uptrend over here, which is guiding us, right? And then what else? We also have um, this, if this trend line over here, this pattern over here, which we also drew up from 2021. Price has always been respecting this, and if we also fix that up, we would see that we've just been trading in a pattern, right? Yes, we have a breakout, and if we draw that, adjust, we can see that, yeah, this was a pattern. Price was buying, selling within this pattern, and then finally broke out, right? Let's zoom into that breakout point. Now this trend line is serving, right? Because we broke out of this trend line. As you can see why this trend line is valid is because when price was moving up, got to this point, rejected, right, and then broke above it. And now that it broke above it, here's what we have. We have a breakout and a retest on that point, right? So yeah, that is one. Pay attention to that. That is one. So yeah, let's look at the possible outcome of this market. Over here we have a fair value gap which price is currently reacting from, right? By the end of today, if price doesn't properly react, then we know that we're coming for this second fair value gap right here, which has been tested before, right? Here's what happened. Price made a fair value gap over here, went up, did its thing, came back to it, right? Point of interest, then bought. Same thing happened over here, point of interest. Now we're just reacting to this point of interest right here. So here is a possible scenario. Price could just continue to buy from here, so this might be where you want to take your buy from. However, if I'm going to take a buy from here, my stop loss is going to be incredibly large, right? So that's playing it safe, but it's a medium probability trade. Here's another probability, which is the one I would like to bank on the more, because in this game it's all about patience, right? So you have to have patience. So I'm going to wait for price to get to this place, because this is some support zone, right? So let's zoom in and let's dissect and analyze and see the reasons to why this is the best place to take our entry, right? So to start with, right, now we're done with this line over here. We don't really need it. Let's just keep the 3 most important lines, and I'm going to paint them all yellow. They're going to be all in yellow. So yes, here we are, and this is our, let's make that a little bit thick. Why is it still white? Yellow. Alright, right. So to start with, this is the recent bit of price action, the bullish pattern, right? So we first started with our bullish continuation flag pattern, right, which tells us that once price breaks above this, we're going to see a retest and we're going to continue buying, right? So with that in mind, we're looking for buys, but where do we enter from? We won't want to enter from here and then price goes down, right? So we want to find the best place to enter this market from. And why I believe this is the best place to enter this market from is because I have 3 reasons to believe. So first reason is this yellow line over here, which I'm going to turn to another color. I'm going to turn it to a blue line. This blue line right here, which came from 2021, as you can see, price has respected it multiple times, and it's serving as some sort of support zone, right? So as you can see as well, price came down here, then bounced up. It's possible that price would retest this zone again and bounce up, which helps us to extend this hour pattern, right? So that's one, the blue line. Second is this support zone over here, which extends from a fair value gap, which I'm now going to paint red. Did it not go red? Which I'm now going to paint red, right? We have price form a fair value gap over here, retest, bounces off. Now price is currently rejecting off of this zone over here. So is this zone strong enough to push us back down here to not just test this support zone, which is extending from a fair value gap, but to also test this trend line, which is forming our bullish pattern? I'm trying to draw that properly, right? Which test over here gives us our entry and continues to buy. Now what's the third point. The third point is this trend line over here, which we might have to adjust with time. We might have to adjust it like this from here, right? Because now we see a possibility that price might just sell down to here, testing this extension of a fair value gap and this trend line, and this also this blue trend line from 2021. That is three solid reasons, three magnets or attraction for price, right? For us to then bounce off with momentum, retest off of this guy, and then higher we go. So this is what I'm expecting, and that will take us to 7,000 per Ethereum, which is initially my target, 7,200 thereabout, right? So if that makes sense, right, I would need you to take a moment, breathe, chill, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you want to get updates like this on time, turn on that post notification. Follow me on Twitter because I always post these on Twitter first. Once you're done doing that, come back to reality, go to your trading app and take a trade, right? Set an order, of course with proper risk management, right? However, this is not financial advice. This is just some guy on the internet doing simple technical analysis and sharing it with people. Personally, I would take this trade, but like I said, this is not financial advice, so don't take my word for it. Do your own research, do your own analysis, and if it aligns with what I'm talking about, then feel free, right? So that's it for me. That's it for this simple technical analysis. This is where I found an entry point, and I'm just going to keep watching it. So yeah, next up I will be looking at Solana, and after that Bitcoin, and after that XRP, which I'm waiting for the ticker on XRP. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day, trading session, and yeah, trade safe.